Hello everybody, this is Megtooth Sith Sabersmith Tom coming at you. And you know, some of y'all will know, but what's going on here is Graflex. And I got my chassis in today, which I want that battery out of there, but I was waiting on the main part of the chassis. I got it in, you know, finally this morning and painted it. Been waiting on it for a month. They shipped me a DV6 all-in-one beginner chassis. Now I did initially get shipped the part 2, which is what you see here. So there's my part 2 with the brass rods installed. I already have the crystal installed in there, and the RGB bulb, which I'm going to explain how that works in a second. My recharge port's already in and wired up. And you can see the kill key. I've painted all that to match the chamber, and all my wires are ready to go there. My main LED, it's a blue white, and what I've done is bridged all my positives, as you can see there on there. So I have one common positive coming off here. The two blues go to my blue die. I'll be individually resistoring them and then commoning them up with the chamber wire. And then my purple is the white flash on clash. I'm using a custom Saber Shop 18650. I do have one of the electrical tape pads off because I'm getting ready to show y'all something on the crystal chamber in a minute. Of course, I'm using a Graflex 2.0. I got the scratch and dent kit. Didn't really find too much damage on the scratch and dent kit. I mean, there were some, you know, minor blemishes and scratches. You know, they said there were a bunch of scratches on the clamp, near the clamp, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, if they're talking about that scratching there, I mean, whatever. So I will buy from scratch and dent kit again. So this is my first Graflex. This will be my 4th lightsaber build, and this one's going to be powered by Nano Biscotte. And I do have my soundboard. I don't have it anywhere close, but this is a Nano Biscotte version 4. So I'm going to be one of the crash test dummies on Nano Biscotte 4. But I didn't bring everyone along for most of the build, but hopefully try to have everyone along here for most of the final assembly. Alright, so now I'm going to demo my crystal chamber so you can see it. There is the crystal chamber lit up with the blue LED. Now, this is an RGB LED. So when you combine green and red in the RGB, you kind of get a, you know, kind of a gold-looking color, which I was going to use for flash on clash. So what I'm going to do is play around with the mixing, and I'll show you why here in a second. Because on the Nano Biscotte 4, it's got a lot more mixing options, and you know, I want a lighter color blade, but if you look what happens when you run all the LEDs simultaneously, you get more of a white. So when you do the blue, green, and red in the RGB LED, you almost get like a whitish blue. So I'm thinking that's going to work for my flash on clash. If it doesn't, then I'll just keep the, you know, the red and the green as flash on clash, and again I'll show you, you know, what that's going to look like when you do the red and green on flash on clash. So purple is flash on clash. So there, you know, imagine it going from blue to that shade, even if I had to do that. So there's the blue, and then potentially flash on clash shade, unless I can get the mixing to work out, is there. Irregardless, the way I like wiring my crystal chambers is I don't think the crystal should be on unless the saber's on. I mean, to me, the energy is going through the crystal. That kind of keeps up with the lore and the mythology. So I only like my crystal to be on when the saber's on. So look at that mess of wires coming out of there. So these mess of wires here are for the RGB chamber LED, and this is all for the recharge port. And then coming down from the saber, I'll have my main LED wires, 2 blue, 1 purple for flash on clash, 1 red common positive. and then I'll have my 2 switch wires. Now on this saber, I didn't say earlier, but I am using I'm using a clamp card switch, so it'll be inside the clamp, and the switch actually, you know, sets in the clamp card switch. And I'm going to be using, I think, the forwardmost post to do mine on, and that's going to be how it works. So when you push down, you know, when you push down on the clamp card, you activate this tactile switch, and that's, you know, it's a Nano Biscotte. You only get one switch. You're only using one switch. But I am using the clamp card switch holder and a tactile switch that fits in the clamp card switch holder as my activation switch. The 2 red buttons that came with the kit, I've replaced them with, you know, these slightly more accurate custom Saber Shop red buttons. Now they don't activate, and I know from watching the videos of Let's Build a Graflex that, you know, some of y'all like buttons that actually push and activate, so these buttons aren't going to push and activate. I can always upgrade that later. This is the paint job on the outer carrier, and I've autographed it and put the year 2017 and my initials on it. I've done it in 3 different colors. I've used Tester's Silver, Tester's Gold, Tester's Bronze, actually 4 colors, because also originally painted the whole thing in flat black. This was originally painted in strong and flexible white plastic, and this is what it looks like now, and I think it actually turned out really good. This bronze that Testers has come out with is just awesome. I mean, this thing, it does look like it's metal in person. It doesn't look like it's plastic. It does look metal. The bronze Testers paint is awesome, and then the gold and silver help really set it off. So I think the chassis is looking good and ready to go. So basically, now I'm at the point where I'm getting ready to start inserting my wires and soldering stuff together. Alright, so the first thing I got to do is put my LED and lens assembly in. So the lens, you know, I've already done all my soldering. I'm sorry that y'all didn't get to see that, but you know, it's soldering. There's plenty of tutorials on the internet where you can watch that. I'm setting my lens on there, and then I'm setting my LED and lens module over my LED and lens and screwing it in while I keep pressure on the lens with my finger so it stays seated on the LED until it gets to the top of the lens, until the lens gets to the top of the LED module, and that actually helps seat the lens. Alright, and the lens is still over my LEDs, so we're golden there. Now I'm going to take a pair of needle nose pliers and put them in these holes in the back. This is the 0.875 LED module from the custom Saber Shop that works for the 7/8 inch blade holder. And there we go. So let's do a quick test, shall we? To make sure LEDs are firing and make sure they're in the lenses. So watch your eyes at home, folks. This is fixing to get bright. Alright. Forgive my ghetto power source here, but the 2 blue LEDs should come on, and they do. They're both on, so that's a good test there. Now the white flash on clash, bingo there. So the white flash on clash is also working. So that's a positive test on my LEDs. Now, since that is good, I'm going to put some electrical tape on my battery ends because they're exposed and we don't want them tripping. And again, I apologize for my ghetto way of testing my LEDs. But we tested the crystal chamber and we've tested the main LED while we've been here. So I think we're ready to assemble. Alright, since we're ready to assemble, we have to put all these wires down the case, where they're going to run down here. And actually, the kind of wiring I bought, this 30 gauge wiring, and it's 30 gauge on the inside, but the casing is a lot bigger than some of the 30 gauge I've seen. You know, it's not the greatest wire in the world, but it's going to have to do for now. It doesn't like holding a twist, not even under heat. But I'm going to send it into my chassis and should send it out through the top. I'm going to send it out through the top of my chassis, and then, you know, the LED module is going to set right on top of the battery holder like that. Now I'm going to send my battery through. Now where the wires come through the circuit protection case here on the end, you know, they sit on the top of the battery. So I want those to also be on the top, and I'm making sure that the wire is staying in the channel, and it is. And you know, you can move the LED back and forth like this, so the wire is free in there. So that's good, and that's what we're looking for there. So now, you know, I don't recall what he did here, but in my opinion, I think you're good to go ahead and solidify all this and go ahead and insert this into the saber. Now, something that I haven't shown is I've already modified my inner core to accept all this stuff. So this is my retention screw for the LED, and this is my retention screw for the battery holder. Now the top of this saber is here where the switch wire route is at, and the top of the chambers where I've got these wires coming out. So I want to match that up roughly. And see how we're doing here for switch wires. And I'm also going to push the LED module down so it's seating on the battery holder. I did solder my speaker. These two blue wires here are the speaker wires, and I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to shine the light. There is the speaker inside the chamber, and then you can see I've got a mess of wires here, which, you know, I know what they all are. And then we have a mess of wires here. So right now what I have to do is figure out what plan I have to join the wires to sit in this narrow channel here. Now some of them I can feed into here, but I don't have a whole lot of room to do that. But this channel right here will be basically feeding right up against that speaker. So I know I have to get most of my joints right here in this section. So right now what I'm going to do is cut all my wires to the appropriate length, and I have my my resistors for my two blues and my white flash-on clash. Now neither of these require resistors. The reason I'm using resistors on the blue and white is because apparently the Nano Biscotte is a lot more stable when you use resistors to make sure that the LEDs aren't taking up all the current. Apparently that makes the Nano Biscotte more stable. So that's the reason I'm using resistors. So I'm going to use one resistor each on each of the blue LEDs and one on the... Alright, so I'm soldering on resistors here onto my main blue LEDs. And I think that looks good. I'll tell here in a minute. looks pretty good. Seems like it's holding. Seems like it's strong. That's a good joint right there. Looks like a little piece of wire sticking up right there. I'm going to smooth that out, and then I'm going to put the heat shrink over it here. I'm going to shrink that up. Very good. I'm liking that. So basically what's going to happen once I get these two wires through, and you can see they're staggered. Oops. A little bit of... You can see that these resistors are staggered, and basically what I'm going to be doing is twisting these two together, and then the chamber LED will also solder after these resistors, because remember, my chamber LED already has its own resistor. And then I will take, you know, a piece of blue wire and extend it. That way both my blue main LEDs and my blue chamber LED will be on one wire that will go to the L-pad. That's the plan. So I'm going to now route these wires into the chamber and probably go ahead and join them to this LED, and then I'm going to send another wire through, and that's going to be my first blue wire that's going to power all my blue LEDs. And then I think I'm going to join my reds here. Actually, I'll probably do the I'll do my flash on clash, and then I'm going to do my reds. And then I'm going to do my black, and then dang, we're getting close then. Then I'll probably do my white up through here, connecting that into the speaker white wire, and then extending that white wire past that junction on into the Nano Biscotte, and then we're kind of getting there. It looks like we're getting on the way where we can start wiring the board up. So we're getting close. I did leave enough slack so I can pull these all the way back in and tuck them behind the speaker. I also have some room to tuck some wire into here underneath the board, so we're on a mission. Okay, so got all my soldering done. Try to get in close there so you can see it. Got all my soldering done. Think I'm happy with it. I don't see any bridges. And I'm going to insert the SD card here and give her a test. Before I do the old cram foo and seal this thing up. So here we go. Turning the kill key on the back here. Well, we got a boot up sound. Let's see what we got. Works okay. I don't even know what these fonts are. I'm gonna have to work on the SD card. I like the crystal chambers flash on class. That looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. That's pretty awesome. Well, let's button this thing up and do the old wire stuff-oo. I'm not gonna bore you guys with that, but woo! Graflex. Alright, so here we go, people. Oops, didn't mean to shut it off. Got some adjustment to do on that switch. Just needs to go further down. But anyway. 3/4. So standard blade length is about 32 inches. I'm kind of tall, so I'm going to go 34, and to count for the blade socket, I'll go 34.5. That's going to leave us this much spare on the end of the blade after I cut it, and you can make blade plugs out of these on your own. So I use a chop saw to cut mine. There we go. Okay, this is going to seem counterintuitive, but I'm going to take this brand new Custom Saber Shop 7/8 inch blade blank, and I'm going to sand it, and I start with 100 grit. Now, the funny thing is about this is the people that used to duel with lightsabers, the people that do duel with lightsabers, what they were finding was that they got better, more evenly lit blades after the blades were all scratched up from dueling. Alright, so unfortunately I think I had the camera microphone off, but I have taken sandpaper, first 100 grit and then 1000 grit, to turn this custom Saber Shop blank that did used to look like this into this. So now we've got it cut to length, and I've sanded the outside. And the reason we sand the outside is what happens is the people that were doing saber combat, what they were finding was that, you know, the more their blades got scratched up from combat, the more even the light distribution was on the blades. So then everybody started sanding their blades, and it was kind of an accidental discovery. But now what we're fixing to do is, this is a blade tip. You can also get these from the custom Saber Shop, and you can see it's got a small mirror in it. This is a bullet blade tip for a 7/8 inch blade, and it's shine through, so the mirror doesn't go all the way through, so the light can get into the tip. And I'm just going to take some super glue, and we're going to glue it in right there. And then after that, we'll go inside and add in the cellophane on the inside, and then that's it, one blade constructed. Alright, so let's try this again. I've done some sanding and removed the protective cover from the mirror. Now I'm putting some CA on the outside of there, and we're going to try and drop this puppy in there. Wow, that was the most difficult tip I think I've ever glued on. It's tight, but at any rate, there's our tip. Now, once the tip is on, I'll also sand the tip with 100 grit. Which the custom Saber Shop kind of already roughs them up when they send them, but I'm just trying to make it match this general area. Now, you know, there's irregularities where I'm sanding, and I don't mind some irregularities in the blade, because, you know, if Star Wars was real, there probably would be irregularities in the blade. But at any rate, I think we are ready for cellophane. So there is one lightsaber blade that started its life like a blank from the custom Saber Shop, and now it looks like this, and we're going to put the cellophane in it. So while I was sitting here, you know, I told you can use these leftover scraps for blade plugs, and indeed you can. So I'm sitting here drinking a bottle of water, and I noticed that the water cap was about the same diameter as the TCSS 7/8 material. So I think what I'm going to do, because nobody has, well, the custom Saber Shop doesn't have their 7/8 blade plugs in stock right now, so I think just temporarily I'm going to make my own. So I think I'm going to cut this at 1 1/4 inches. I'm going to glue this on, and then I'm going to paint this black, and then I'm going to put a brass something on there, some kind of greebly. And at least that way I'll have a temporary blade plug, you know, and we'll get some shine through on the outside edge here. But at least that way I'll have some kind of a blade plug until my blade plug arrives. Alright, so I told you about that soda bottle cap that was about the height of the blade plug. And then I found this little grass greebly, and I'm going to glue it on there in the center of that cap like that. And there we have a homemade, you know, homemade 7/8 inch blade plug until I can get a more accurate one in. That's how easy it is to make a blade plug. You know, just a couple ideas and a water bottle lid and some brass greebly thing I had hanging in the garage. So after hours of work, I've labored to produce a BS blade plug. At least I have a blade plug now for my saber, but you know, it'll work. Hello saber fans, Megtooth Sith Saber Smith here with my Graflex, and also the blade, which I just finished. It's wrapped in cellophane. We'll get to see that in a minute. And my saber. Now I've uploaded new sound fonts on it, so it's got 3 sound fonts on it. So by the way, this is a Graflex 2.0. It's got a 2-watt premium speaker in it, an 18650 rechargeable battery with an in-hilt recharge port and kill key, which is accessible either through the pommel or by taking it off. This saber also has a crystal reveal chamber in it, which I'll start off with the chamber off so everybody can see it, which is a Darth Rio Goth 3D Designs chassis system with a crystal on it, and the crystal matches the actual saber. So right now the first font should be Shamim. Let me kill that light. This is Shamim's font. Next font. Oop. Next font.
Impressive. Most impressive.
This is going to be Bespin 2 by Mad Cow. Really bassy. And then the third font. Third font.
You have that power too.
This is Graflex TFA by Shamim. A lot more bassy. Shamim and Jordan must have been hanging out when they made this one. Put a blade in it, shall we? So I don't know if y'all got to see that. See my blade plug? That's my homemade blade plug. Piece of junk that I made earlier. It works. Alright, so we're going to put in a blade here. This is, I just finished this blade hot off the press. 7/8 from Custom Saber Shop. It was a blank. Now the set screws for this blade are the red buttons. They're false. They're not real buttons. So here we go. Nice flash on flash. Look at that, pretty white. It's a beautiful saber. Let's get back to that episode 4 font. I love that one. Indeed it is. The Youngling Slayer. Look at that blade. Beautiful, beautiful blue color on that blade. See the shine through on the rabbit ears? Next font. Mad Cow.
Most impressive.
Real bassy. And the last font is Shamim's the TFA Graflex. Really crazy ignition sound on that one, huh? one last look at that crystal chamber because it actually came out really awesome. I hope y'all are seeing all that. Beautiful. The whole saber is just outstanding. I cannot believe how good this came out. I'm pretty proud of it. Graflex 2 complete. May the force be with you. Thank you everybody for watching. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be building sabers more and more. Thank you all for watching. May the force be with you.